Assalamualaikum.Wr.Wb. Hello everyone, my name is Meily Sonia Putri. See me again in midterm test ICT in ELT 7B class. So hopefully all of you stay happy and healthy. Today we are going to talk about adjective clause. Before we start our lesson, let's say Basmalah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So what is adjective clause? An adjective clause, or we called as relative clauses, is a dependent clauses that modify a noun or pronoun. They describe, identify, or give further information about noun or pronoun. And how adjectives are formed in sentences? In these sentences can be single word, a phrase, and also clause. Every adjective is to describe a noun. In the first sentence, the adjective taller to describe he. In the second sentence, the phrase very tall and handsome is also used to describe he. And in the third sentence, the clause who lives next to me is used to describe the noun the man. Here are conjunction, or we call as connectors, mostly used in adjective clauses. Who or that for describing persons, when for describing time, where for describing places, which or that for describing things, whose for describing possession, and why for describing reasons. In this video, we are going to focus on who, which, and whose. In this sentence, there are two clauses. The first clause is the man, and the second sentence clause is who teaches us. The clause who teaches us is called as a dependent clause. Why? Because it cannot stand alone and it has function to describe the word man. Now, let's check out when we want to use who or that in adjective clause. Well, there are many people in the picture. Which man did you mean? In this sentence, we want to give more description about the man by saying is using black car. In these sentences, we use connectors either who or that because we do not mention the specific name about the man. Okay, now let's give some more description about Mr. Christian Yu. We say he is Mr. Christian Yu who lives across my house. We cannot say he is Mr. Christian Yu that lives across my house because we mentioned the name of the man. Okay, now your turn. To complete the sentence, we use the connector who or that. That's right, we use connector who because we mention a name, which is Roseanne. Now about this one, we use the connector who or that. In these sentences, we can say either a woman who always there for me is my mother, or a woman that always there for me is my mother. Why? Because we don't mention any name. So, when do we use the word which or that in adjective clauses? I'm reading a comic is a simple sentence. And let's give some description about comic. Now we add clauses I bought last week to describe a comic. In these sentences, we can use connectors either that or which because we do not mention the name or title of the comic. Let's some add descriptions about the comic Tokyo Ghoul in this simple sentence. And we use the connector which to describe the name of the comic, which is Tokyo Ghoul. Alright, complete the sentence. Do we use the connector which or that? In this sentence, we can use connector either that or which because we do not mention the name of concert music. How about this one? Do we use the connector which or that? The sentence we use connector which because we mention the name of the song, which is Coldplay song. Now we have simple present. The girl is Valerie. But which one is Valerie? Because we see there are 3 people in this picture. The clause whose dress is white is used to add more description about Valerie. Because we say something about Valerie has, which is white dress, so we replace her dress into whose dress. So why we recognize an adjective clause when you find one? First, it will contain a subject and verb. And next, it will begin with a connector as pronoun or adverbs. And the last one, it will function as an adjective, answering the question what kind, how many, or which one. So remember about adjective clause. Adjective clause has structure, connector, plus subject, and plus verbs. Who to describing persons with or without the name, which for describing things with or without the name, and that describing person or things with or without name, and the last one whose for replace possession adjectives. Okay, that's all. See you next week. Thank you for listening and watching. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you everyone.